Here on Nonstop Nightly, we take an in-depth look at stories that affect you. And tonight we're joined by Dr. Ray Perryman of the Perryman Group, an economic and financial analysis firm, and Bob McTeer, a distinguished fellow with the National Center for Policy Analysis. And tonight we're going to talk about what this means to the average American. And I got to tell you both, as I sit there and listen to all the politicians, I don't care which side it is, I don't understand what they're talking about. It seems like everybody has an agenda. It's difficult to know what to believe. So let's begin with one simple question. How bad is this crisis? Seems like they always come to a crisis and fix it.
Well, basically, I think you have a couple of things going on here, and they get confused and muddled sometimes in the reporting. You have the debt, and today we tax about 64 cents for every dollar we spend. And obviously, you can't sustain that forever, and we have to go through some long-term measured approaches, hopefully some type of deal right now, but in any case, we have to deal with that. The other issue is the debt ceiling, which is just an artificial limit we place on how much we can borrow, and that's really more or less a made-up crisis. We've had a debt ceiling for almost a century now, and we keep raising it and raising it and raising it. But basically, they've already approved the spending, they've already approved the taxes, and when they did, there was a difference. And the debt ceiling is what it takes to cover that difference. And it always becomes an issue, most of the time just good, clean fun with politicians making speeches back and forth and that sort of thing. But this time it's escalated to a significant crisis to the extent it has some of the financial markets quite concerned.
Bob?
Well, I agree with everything that Ray just said. We shouldn't have a debt limit, so we shouldn't be having this crisis. But we do have it, and the crisis could be very severe, and it's imperative that they come up with an agreement. Hopefully it will be an agreement that will cut spending quite a bit and get the debt ceiling lifted. And while it might contain some loophole closures, I would argue strongly against any increases in tax rates. What we have here is too much spending, not too little taxes. Tax revenue is down because of the recession.
Okay, Bob, can I ask both of you a quick question? Do you see any hope of any person cutting spending because they all have something to gain from spending in their district? Is that correct?
Well, I think definitely it's always hard. What gets us in this mess, of course, is they're not required to balance the budget on an ongoing basis. It's very easy to spend money. It's very difficult to tax people. And most of the deficits come about by people trying to do good things for people in their district, for people that they think have a legitimate need. And it just over time, it's just gotten out of control. But I think we're at a point in time where realistically we have to do some spending cuts. If you just look at the growth of what's going to happen with the aging of the baby boomers and a lot of other things, we don't have any choice. We're at a point right now where we have to bring some of this under control.
Okay, Bob, you mentioned that this could be a very serious situation. The president has mentioned that Social Security checks might not go out. What else specifically could happen here?
Well, interest rates could rise considerably, and since U.S. Treasury bills and notes are the world standard, all other rates will rise accordingly. Stock market, no doubt, will take a deep dive. The dollar will plunge, raising import prices and export prices. Everything that would happen would contribute to another serious recession.
So given all of that, do you really think they're not going to reach a deal?
I think they, in the back of their minds, hope they reach a deal, but unfortunately each side is expecting and waiting for the other side to blink. If it works and it causes us to get a pretty good resolution, then fine. The danger is that it won't work and that nobody blinks.
Ray, do you think there's a significant danger?
I don't think it's a significant danger. The financial markets are not telling us it's a significant danger. I mean, they're not overreacting to it yet or that sort of thing. But if we get very close to a deadline on this and we're really down to a point where default is imminent, that sort of thing, then I think you start to see some of these consequences. And if you think about it, we have $14 trillion in debt. Even a 1% increase in the interest rate means federal interest payments go up $140 billion a year. If it goes up 3, 4, 5, 6%, we're soon talking about $1 trillion just in extra spending to pay interest, and that's the risk that we face. But I think because the risk is so great, at the end of the day, they will come to some kind of agreement.
Appreciate both of you coming in this evening and trying to explain some of this to us who do not understand all that's going on, and you've shed some light on it for us. Thank you very much, both of you.